Hello there, people. Great weather. So, self-sufficiency. To what degree is it possible? Is it realistic? Is it going to happen? How does one achieve it in non-ideal circumstances? How does one achieve it even in ideal circumstances? Is it worth it? Should we aim for it? Or should we aim for what I think could be more realistic, and that is a small piece of it? It's a subject that crops up in my mind, there it is, quite a lot of the time. Now, years ago, people used to do it a lot, because a lot of it was necessity. You know, it's not necessarily, for most people, a necessity anymore, but I do think that people are starting to realise the merits of just, where are we going, a little bit of independence and what one can achieve, whether it be through food or whether it be through provided your own heat or water or something along those lines. Can't beat a nice dry seasoned log, can you? Of course, people aim for varying degrees of self-sufficiency, and is using a chainsaw self-sufficient? It's another subject entirely. Eucalyptus. This is hard stuff. So lots to do, and I thought I would join, well, you could join me today on a bit of gardening and a bit of a chat. Sawdust in the eye. Okay, let's go. Well, yeah, so what I'm doing next is just preparing this bed here, and basically you can see the old wood ash on here, and this is part of my sort of, how would one describe it, natural enrichment of the soil. Of course you don't want too much, you know, moderation is key in many walks of life, and gardening and soil enrichment is no exception. So I'm just levelling this off. As you know, I borrowed some of this soil for me potatoes the other day. So, and it's still very much a work in progress. I don't go too much for the, you know, refined, manicured approach. I can imagine that most of you by now have realised that. But end of the day, this is real world stuff. And, you know, one or most don't have all the time to work on a perfectly manicured system, or have the money to pay someone to full-time or whatever it takes work on them having a perfect setup themselves. So I think a lot of it is planning, preparation, and working towards what you're trying to achieve. And what I'm working towards is to try and get as self-sufficient as possible. Now, I realise that total self-sufficiency, it ain't gonna happen, but I'm working towards my own goal on this. So anyway, there's the soil, and that is now ready for a bit of setting. So I'm going to just get the old watering can and just put a little bit of the old H2O on the soil. Like this, look. Again, as you can tell, I'm really not being too fussy over this, because I've got to get some stuff in because things are going to be rolling soon and I've got to be ready. Right, so I'll let you see what I've got here. And I've got here broad beans. I believe they were variety the Sutton. You may remember if you've been watching my videos when I set these a little while ago now, but they've grown well. I germinated them inside, and then I put them out into the polytunnel initially, and then outside into the garden in order for them to harden off. So they should be ready for going out now, and they're frost resistant, at least here in the UK weather anyway. And you can see their leeks. I forget the variety, but they're meant to be big ones, so might even put those in today, but certainly going to be putting in these lovely broad beans. So let's go. Okay, so I've given these a thorough watering. Well, hey, so there you go, they're ready to go. I mean, if all the root structures, I'll just come behind so you can see, if all the root structures are as good as this one, I mean, that's, you know, I'm very happy with that. So simply all I'm going to do is set them over here. Right, okay, so this broad bean plant using this trowel, spoke about them before, but I do rate a lot of Spear and Jackson hand tools. Now, so we're going to be going about here, and it's going to be a very simple setup. I'll probably go about here, and that's going to go in there like so. Like that, firm them round. And I'm going to have another one, and I'm going to go, I'm not going to do them in the traditional sense of setting them. I'll show you how I'm going to do them. Now I'm just going to put them in like this. Now I'm putting them in relatively close together, okay, and this is not ideal, but a lot of this is to do with space, not space invaders, space issues. Okay, so what we're going to do, although, you know, space invader coming here and nicking my broad beans, what else are we doing? Starting to look pretty groovy, aren't they? I do love broad beans. Some people don't. I do. They're versatile. I just like to eat them boiled, to be honest. So anyway, we're going to continue in the vein of setting the broad bean plants. All the way along there. So there's my 10 broad bean plants, and what I'm going to do